Shohei Ohtani, is he overrated? That's the question. The $700 million question. We all know that Shohei Ohtani is a tremendous player and one of the best players in today's game. But is he overrated? We're here to discuss that very thing.
I'm kind of getting tired of people comparing Shohei Ohtani right now to, obviously, you know who I'm going to say, Babe Ruth, right? They're just going straight to the top, to the guy who leads the major leagues in WAR with like 180 something. We'll go over that a little later. But first of all, I think we're going to sound like haters, but I love Shohei Ohtani personally. He's one of my favorite players in the MLB right now. I love him because of his personality too. That's important to me. He's super likable. He seems like a really good guy, but he's also damn good at baseball, right? He's crazy. We never seen someone come and to pitch and to hit, and he just hit a home run in spring training. It's crazy what he's doing for the game of baseball. Is great. The point of this video is we're seeing way too many outlets or people. It kind of seems like they're living in the now and they're not realizing that it seems like he's getting overhyped in a lot of ways, and we're going to discuss that a little later with some numbers.
I agree with a lot of what you said, but let's try to take all this hype and put it in some kind of perspective with some data. Shohei Ohtani is a two-way phenomenon, but let's take a look at some of these numbers just a little more closely from an objective standpoint and just understand what are we looking at with Shohei Ohtani actually just playing baseball pound for pound, especially putting him up against some of the other players in the game today. One of the things Omar and I took a look at is we looked at Fangraphs, which is a really reputable site for a lot of baseball statistics. This is their 2024 projections, looking at what they project the baseball players to do for this year. And there's some interesting things that stood out to us when we took a look at it. First and foremost, for this year coming up, the way they're projecting the MLB to play out, as you could see here, which is no surprise, right? At the very top, this is ranked by WAR on the far right, who they expect to have the highest WAR from a hitting perspective in 2024. And no surprises with Ronald Acuna at the top of the list at almost 7.5 WAR, Juan Soto at over 6, Judge over 6, Mookie Betts. The list goes on and on. But one particular person on this list you don't see here, and it's a person that just so happens to have the richest contract in Major League Baseball history. You got to kind of scroll down a little bit to see what the $700 million man is projected to be. And again, when you go down and you go down and you go down, you kind of, there he is, Mr. Shohei Ohtani, with a projection of a 4.3 WAR for the 2024 season. So what are your thoughts on this right here where you see Mr. Shohei ranking?
You shouldn't have to scroll that low if you're being the highest paid person in the history of the sport, right? But I mean, that's kind of surprising, but his WAR was so high last year because, again, he was a pitcher. This year, he won't be doing any pitching. That's why we're looking at those numbers. And yeah, this is super surprising to me, honestly. Super surprising to see him down there with names like, even though he's good, obviously, Marcus Semien, Michael Harris, which is he's a great fielder. Yeah, that's crazy.
Again, putting it in perspective, of course, Shohei Ohtani is a phenomenal player. Great for baseball. We're baseball fans. We love when there's superstars in this league. But we need to just temper expectations a little bit and separate the hype, I think, from what is actually going on in the game. They're projecting him at 40 bombs with 106 RBIs, which is a phenomenal season. But still, when you look at pound for pound, from a WAR perspective, what he could do wins above replacement, right, is you got guys like Yandy Diaz and Michael Harris the second, Bobby Witt Jr., Corbin Carroll. None of these guys are getting paid anywhere near the stratosphere of what Shohei Ohtani is. You might be able to add a bunch of these guys up on top of him, and he's still making more than all of them. So what are we paying for here when it comes to Shohei Ohtani? And is he overrated? And I think you've mentioned this in some of our other videos. Did the Dodgers buy into high side of the market? Did they buy into some of the hype? Now, let's take it a little step further, okay, with Shohei Ohtani. So we already see that he is going to be bottom 25 of what's projected to be the results for this year from a WAR standpoint. Now, let's just say in a given year, some of the best hitters in the league will give you a 6 to 7 WAR. So, a 6 WAR is a phenomenal season, almost going to be an MVP caliber player.
Yeah.
Let's just say right now, Shohei Ohtani, at this point in his career, he's actually 29 years old. And this is based off of Baseball Reference. So he has a 10-year contract with the Dodgers. And that at the end of the contract, he's going to be 39, going on 40 years old. So let's just see where he shakes out currently as a 29-year-old with his WAR. He's at about a 35 WAR. And let's presume he was able to play as one of the top WAR leaders each and every year. Let's give it a 6 WAR for the next 10 years. Add 6 times the 10 years he has to get to about 39 years old. It's going to get you another 60 WAR on top of this 35. So that shakes out to, my math is mathing, it's going to be a 95 WAR roughly, right?
Yeah.
So
Which
for
is
someone,
great. Which
is a phenomenal career. But where does that put Shohei Ohtani among the all-time WAR greats based on how much we hear about Shohei Ohtani being a GOAT already? Let's check it out. Let's take that 95 WAR and see where he shakes out. So when you go to Baseball Reference, you can see who the GOATs are here. These are the GOATs. When you look at wins above replacement, of course, Babe Ruth, Walter Johnson, Cy Young, Barry Bonds, Willie Mays. I mean, these guys are the greats. I don't think that when you look at that 95, maybe to 100 WAR that you would give Shohei Ohtani, and this is being optimistic on the health side and everything, you got to start to really scroll down here and you start to see some of the players that are in that 95 to 100 range. Carl Yastrzemski, Phil Niekro, Cal Ripken Jr. is obviously a great. Roberto Clemente, a great. He's going to shake out amongst the greats. But these are different greats than the greats of the greats. Okay. There's a top 1%. All right. Shohei Ohtani is not going to be in the top 1%. And I think the hype train has left the station. And we got to like pump the brakes on it a little bit. So what are your thoughts after seeing some of this and how he may shake out and amongst the all-time greats?
I think just giving 6 WAR every year until he's 39, obviously injuries or getting older, just not performing as well, he could do a lot worse than that. But if he does wind up getting into the 90s, 95 zone, like you said, the people who were comparing him to people like Babe Ruth or I'm sure Barry Bonds too. Like I didn't really hear that one yet, but I'm sure somebody said that. I just hear Babe Ruth a lot because the pitching and the hitting. Everyone who's said that is just gonna look a little bit funny because you wouldn't compare Carl Yastrzemski to Barry Bonds or Babe Ruth or any of these names in the 30s or whatever with the 96 WAR, 93 WARs. There's no comparison. So again, I think we're living in the moment right now, which is good. We're enjoying the moment, but we're also doing too much forecasting and not really understanding how hard it is to get to those spots where the WAR is 180 something. Or again, Shohei Ohtani is a great talent. He's one of the best we've ever seen, but let's just calm down a little bit.
So you let us know in the comments, is Shohei Ohtani's hype justified or is he overrated?